Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Product School webinar. Thanks for joining us today. Just in case you didn't know, Product School teaches product management, coding, data analytics, digital marketing, and blockchain courses online and at our 15 campuses worldwide. On top of that, every week we offer some amazing local product management events and host online webinars, live streams, and Ask Me Anything sessions. Head over to productschool.com after this webinar to check them out. Today, we have an awesome guest presenting. I'd like to introduce you to Alex Crumpler. Alex is a thought leader guiding a high-performing cross-functional team that is exploring storytelling and new ways of delivering the news. He has a decade of technology leadership experience in companies both large and small, and he has a passion for growing teams that are empowered, enthusiastic, and effective. Feel free to leave any questions for Alex in the comments, and we'll be sure to address them at the end. Without further ado, let's welcome Alex. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Dan. Hey, aspiring product managers, and hey, Product School. Honored and humbled to be here. Let me share my screen really quickly. All right. I think we're on here. First and foremost, a little bit, thank you, Dan, for the introduction. That's very kind of you. So who is this dork talking to me right now? Hi, I'm Alex. I wanted to show kind of my breadth of work experience, and I'll tie this together in a minute. Graduated with a real estate finance degree, did some real estate work for about 1.5 years. Realized I liked the architecture behind real estate and not the business side of it. So I said, well, let's get out of this. I'm not passionate about it. Went and traveled around the world, realized I had a passion for digital, and grew up with it as a millennial, and got an opportunity at how stuff works. Just learned the business there, and then had the opportunity to move to a healthcare startup called ShareCare. I was one of the first 30 employees there, and helped grow the business, their product portfolio, and business processes. It was an amazing, amazing learning opportunity. And then I realized where I wanted to go in my career, I needed some enterprise level experience, and that's why I'm at CNN for where I'm at, where I am. I like to show this to aspiring product managers because you can't major in it, at least not yet, in traditional educational formats. And so we come from a variety of backgrounds and a variety of disciplines. It is usually a winding road, and that's what makes it such a special field of study, discipline, focus, whatever you want to call it. It truly is one of those areas of a business that is unique outside of many. So kudos to those that are taking product school courses or curious about product management. It's an exciting field to be in. All right, so we're here today. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of insight into how to form high-performing teams. Like Dan said, it's a passion of mine. I really love people and love getting the best out of those people and guiding those people to a North Star. So this will just be a brief overview of kind of some core tenets of what I think help make a high-performing team and how to guide them. Because I look forward more to answering your questions towards the end of this. All right. First and foremost, you got to have great people, right? You've got to get amazing people that are excited and want to do amazing things with you. And so I like to highlight this example here. This is Brittany. She is a real person. She is an amazing and talented software engineer on my Read storytelling team here at CNN. She's an amazing, passionate person. She is really engaged with leading endeavors to get ladies more involved in tech. It's one of those things that I like to highlight because she's not just an input, into the equation or a cog in the wheel. You really want to find people that are really good at what they do, but they also have some attributable skills to the overall business and overall kind of culture of the team. And so she is one of those advocates for ladies in tech and brings a really good perspective into that, which helps our team perform better ultimately, and she helps us raise our bar. Also, she might be a stormtrooper. Don't take me too seriously. This just shows a little bit of a window into our team. Some people think that at CNN, it's all hard work and no play. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of fun play. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a window into the culture of our team and at CNN Digital. Staying with that, the people theme of how to form high performing teams. I've got great leadership, and one of the greatest things that my leadership has told me is that you hire for the person, not the position. And I think that's a really, really important thing to take away from this talk today. And as you advance in your product endeavor career, is that at the end of the day, you want to work with really, really good people. You don't want to work for or with people that just aren't fun or might bring you down or aren't open and transparent and candid with you. You want to find the well-rounded, balanced people. So again, hire for the person. Don't try to fill a seat with a heartbeat. Find a heartbeat that is passionate, eclectic, and will help raise the bar of your team. Another great one that we look to at CNN Digital is that we really look to get a diverse set of folks when we're creating teams. I think this one is equally as important because you get different views, different perspectives, you get different experiences if your team is a kaleidoscope of people. One example I want to highlight of that is I had the fortunate opportunity to go out to Silicon Valley in July and on an MBA trip for Georgia Tech. And we visited this company called Medical. And this is just an observation that I had, but if you can see up here, if you can see my cursor, but in the top right of your screen, you can see Joe Urban, who's the CEO of Medical, this little Potrero Hill neighborhood company. It is like the proverbial Silicon Valley startup. They are in a garage, literally in a garage, making this medical equipment. And it's amazing to see their operations. But what really stood out to me visiting this company was the diversity that we were all surrounded by, and it was intentional. It just showed that this team of less than 100, I think it's maybe less than 50 people, is able to produce medical equipment that comes with its own constraints, complexities, outside of building software and things. They're able to pull it off in a space that's, again, the size of a garage, and are doing well both financially. They're moving to a big new space out in Oakland, 17,000 square feet, a lot bigger than a garage. So it's just a testament to Joe, his executive team, and all of the folks at Medical, that they really take to heart that we're going to pull off something really complex and really amazing that's going to change how a business or industry thinks about things and how they help people in healthcare. And they do that with a very, very diverse, highly capable team. Kind of sum that up as in a top line: diversity amplifies problem-solving advantages in teams. To go a little bit deeper on that, I was speaking to it a little bit earlier, is that, again, you're getting people from all different vantage points, all different experiences, all different of levels, all different of ages, they can bring in a perspective into solving a problem. It really is helpful to have different people thinking about solving problems in different ways. It just like I'll read from the slide, it just amplifies that problem solving capability, and will help your team perform at a higher level. We're in the middle of Premier League. I don't know if people, love international football. I'm sure we've got some folks on the line that do. So I wanted to highlight Manchester City. Sorry for those Manchester United folks that are out there. I personally like City, but I wanted to highlight them as well because for the diversity theme here is that, again, you've got this diverse set of people that are achieving the highest professional capability of any, and they're winning consistently in a very, very competitive space that is Premier League soccer and beyond. And one thing to note here is that, they're not all goalkeepers. They're not all defensive men. They're not all forwards. They're a mixture, and they come from all different backgrounds, all different styles of play, all different types of training to get up to this point. And they're one cohesive unit that is working well together. Now, that is probably a testament to Pep, who's their head coach, who has articulated a concise and clear vision to them, and has given them the space and the framework to develop in. But again, want to highlight that those things can only go so far. You've actually got to have the players do the ultimate work on the pitch, just like a product team ultimately has to do the work to deliver the solutions to those problems. So again, another real life example of a high performing team is this kind of Manchester City Football Club, coming from all different backgrounds, pulling off amazing things together because of their intellectual humility. Another tenet that's really important if you are ever going or in a position to lead teams is give them the headspace to self-organize. You don't always want to micromanage. I don't think anybody likes to be micromanaged. And so if you give a team or a group of people that ability to do the things they want to do and explore and learn and teach themselves and teach each other how to do things, and give them the security to fail but learn and then succeed afterwards, is a really powerful tool that can help amplify your team. For example, at CNN Digital, my delivery manager, she's amazing. Her name is Julia Kempler, and another person of our team that constantly, day in and day out, makes us raise our bar even higher. She had this idea with some other of her delivery or project management peers to do a demo day to show all this great work that all of the team is doing, from the designers to the engineers, to everyone, to the editorial cross-functional peers that are on our team. It really takes a lot of people to pull off some of the great things that we're doing at CNN Digital. But again, going back to the self-organizing theme, this just organically happened. This wasn't a directive top-down initiative from executives or our direct leadership. This organically happened as an emergent theme from our teams. And it was a really powerful signal to the organization that, hey, we've got these great things and we want to show them off. And we have the space to do that. So again, high performing team, another good core tenet is to give them that self-organizing ability. Similar, but a little bit different is autonomy. Hope you guys can see that screen. It's a little zoomed in. But autonomy is absolutely, I believe, imperative to form high performing teams. A great example that I like to use and that I reference personally is Spotify. It is just ingrained and encoded in their culture, and it's one of those. Again, I've been fortunate to have amazing leadership It's one of those consistent themes that I've been around, is that autonomy will really help your team perform at a high level. That idea of being loosely coupled and highly aligned, especially in big complex organizations like a Spotify, like a Facebook, like a Google, like an Amazon, like a CNN, you've got to be able to move and explore and different solutions to different opportunities, and not sure their dependencies, but you've got to be able to kind of, again, have that autonomy to breathe and move and do the things you need to do to push your product portfolio forward, to push the business value and the consumer value in the right direction. So again, if anything, one of the top themes to really take away from this is autonomy. When building or guiding a team, demand to be autonomous, but know that yes, you've got to be coordinated with your other peers. But autonomy is critically important to have for high performing teams. With being autonomous, you've got to be accountable. You can't be just this loosey-goosey, off the reservation kind of thing. Some organizations, might allow for that, and that's fine. That's their culture. That's their thing. The teams I've been around and been a part of, fortunately been a part of, we're held accountable, and I think that's a very important thing to take away from this, is that if you're given that autonomy and you're given that self-organizing ability, you need to take ownership of the decisions that you make, and ultimately own the learning that you go through and the successes that you go through. So for instance, this is again a window into some of our very, very talented engineers that I'm fortunate enough to work with. They really take pride in making each other accountable in what they're doing, whether it's one line of code or a gazillion lines of code. They're always challenging and saying, well, think about it this way, think about it that way, and learning from one another. We don't usually let things kind of slip through the cracks, and I think that is a testament to them holding each other accountable, and we hold each other accountable. Again, it's that intellectual humility that I think is an important theme running through this, is that you've got to kind of put down your guard a little bit and develop a team and grow a team to say it's okay to challenge each other, because we learn together, we succeed together. You've really got to make that a tenet of your team when you're building a high performing team, is that, guys, we're going to be doing this great work. We've got to own it from ideation all the way to delivery and out the door and maintaining it and so forth. It is ours. So let's make ourselves accountable. Passion. This one is just kind of natural, right? Any high performing team is it's kind of it's there, right? I don't know a high performing team that wasn't passionate about what they were doing. I'm sure there are many people out there that could probably cite some. I just can't think of any. But every team that I've been fortunate to be a part of, I would say 9 out of 10 people on that team were passionate about what they were doing. You've got to have the excitement, the equity into what you're doing to really grow, not just culturally as a team, but to care about the products or services that you're delivering to the business and to the consumer. If you're not passionate about it, I don't know of a team succeeding that's not passionate about what they're doing. Going back to some of the examples, Manchester, City Football Club, if they weren't passionate about going after and getting the Premier League championship, I highly doubt that they would get there. I just don't see it working. Same thing with Potrero Medical. If they weren't passionate about solving the some of the health care problems that are out there, they wouldn't be a company. So you've got to be passionate about what you're doing. At CNN Digital, specifically, our Read storytelling team is passionate about building essential and engaging storytelling experiences, flat out, like every day, day in and day out. That's what gets us up in the morning, is to come in and start to understand and learn from our consumers and the business about how we can continue to push the storytelling capabilities, not just of the company, but really of the industry forward. And it's amazing to be a part of. Other things to highlight about passion, right? Passion is not about just, building that product or building that service and getting it out the door. You can see that here's another one of our crazy engineers. This is Ryan Jackson. We had this great opportunity to build a product in the AMP framework, Google's AMP framework, accelerated mobile pages. And after that, he learned so much, and he just had a passion for it that he's like, I got to share this stuff. I got to share this stuff with somebody. And he was passionate about, sharing his learnings and teaching other folks on the team, and sharing that knowledge. And now he's, that subject matter expert or leader, AMP leader on our team. And again, that kind of self-organizing and autonomy and empowerment to do that, starts to kind of all come together. So I'm hoping this is kind of start to kind of, the batter is starting to get mixed together, and bad analogy here, but hopefully we'll be making a cake after this. Let's see here. Empowered, right? You can have, autonomy, and you can have, accountability, and you can have those too. But again, fortunate enough to be a part of organizations and be surrounded by amazing leaders that have given myself and given the teams I've been a part of the empowerment to explore, to fail, but fail, learn why you failed, and then apply those learnings to keep moving forward. So empowerment is a huge one. Well, again, whether you're at a granular level, if you're leading a delivery team, I personally have empowered every single person on my team to create user stories or create tickets or cards or whatever you want to call it. They don't need to wait on me or wait on MJ, who's our tech lead of our team, to create tickets. Everyone should be able to create tickets. And then we obviously have processes in place to where we groom those and prioritize those, but no one is not empowered to do so. At a higher level, this image here just shows a kind of a cross-functional swath of folks in a opportunity solutioning session, bringing in all parts of the business. Everyone was on a level playing field, and we were empowered to lead this session and take some of our business peers and cross-functional peers through this process of solutioning activities to some of the problem statements or opportunities that the team wanted to go after. So empowerment, very, very, very important to the high-performing team equation. Getting towards the end here. So key takeaways, right? We covered a lot. I hope it's kind of tying together. But again, to go over it, right? Hire people, not positions. Don't just put someone in the seat. It's not going to work out. I know from experience, it's just not going to work out. So be careful about who you hire. Hire the right people. Take your time, and get right people that are going to raise the bar of your team and yourself. Diversity. You really got to grab people from a lot of different areas, backgrounds, mindsets, problem-solving capabilities. It can be geographical. You name it. Just always have that diversity kind of theme in your mind. It's really important. Self-organizing. Give the team the ability and the headspace to self-organize. Give them autonomy. They've got to be able to move and breathe and and do things on their own, and not always be getting directive things, but have that ability to do some emergent kind of stuff that can go up and out into the business. Got to have your team's got to be accountable. If you're giving this, empowerment, you're giving them this autonomy and self-organizing things, they've got to be accountable for what they do, and the actions they take and the decisions they make. Passion. You want to surround yourself with passionate people about what you're trying to do, what North Star you're trying to go after, and so forth. So make sure you get the right people that are passionate about the same things or similar things that yourself is or your team's about, and empowered. Needed to empower your team or teams, delivery teams, if you're at that senior executive kind of level, or if you're in the weeds, that product manager of that specific delivery team needs to tell their team you are empowered to make decisions, make them as a team, but you're empowered to make those decisions as a team. You're empowered to, again, as granularity, like create tickets. You don't need to look to a product manager just to create tickets. So giving your team that empowerment, I think, if you give them empowerment, 5, 4, and 3 kind of will come online, because then they're not just sitting there waiting to get directive orders. It'll naturally, organically kind of morph into this amazing high-performing team. All right, so that's kind of the some of the tenets that I recommend you think about when guiding, developing high-performing teams. And I just wanted to kind of impart at the end of this a little bit is some things that that might help you as you go through your product journey. But Theodore Roosevelt is a personal hero of mine, and you can see his quote there: "I am a part of everything that I have read." We get information from a lot of different places, but I'm really passionate about reading books, and books offer a lot of great insight into a lot of things. And so some great literature around product management that I've read are these 3 specifically stand out. So Dream Teams, some of these are probably really familiar, you guys have read, some you might have not, but here it is. Dream Teams by Shane Snow. Amazing book. It's a quick read. It's got amazing stories of actually real life examples of high performing teams, and what made the teams work, and citing examples of where teams fell apart. So very good read. Highly recommend it. Product leadership. It's kind of one of those, amazing cornerstone books of our industry, and our specific field of discipline. So pick that one up too. Also a good read. It's more of a textbooky kind of book, where you can kind of bounce around. You don't have to read it kind of in this linear fashion. You can kind of flip through it and reference it throughout your, product journey, which is cool. And then Sprint, it's a great one too. How to kind of, not necessarily form high performing teams, but once you have one, a methodology or a way of working and getting after big problems in a fast manner. It's just a good team ideation and proof of concepting kind of tool framework that you can use with your future high performing teams. So some more closing thoughts. As a product manager, you sit in a really powerful seat, and in a sense of that, not really of authority, because most times than not, product managers, you've got 0 direct reports, and any given day you've got tens, hundreds, sometimes in some cases thousands of indirect reports. So really work on your skills, to those soft skills that will help you bring out the best in people, because again, you're going to have to move a lot of people that don't report to you in the direction you want them to go in. And that is one of the greatest challenges and the greatest opportunities of being a product manager. So really think and research how to bring out the best in people, and maybe maybe product school will invite me back and I can offer some wisdom on that. I've got a little bit of experience there too. But that's a really important theme to take out of this one too, is that to be a successful product manager, I'm not saying it's all of the success, but you've got to be able to inspire and move people that you're not their boss. And again, that's an amazing opportunity, an amazing challenge, but it's a fun one, and it can be a fun one. Simple stuff. Stay humble. You're not the smartest person in the room. Don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Know how to get the smartest people in the room to solve a problem. That's really it. So stay humble, and you'll do well. Pay it forward. That's what I'm doing here right now. Again, I've had amazing leadership that has taught me amazing things. I'm trying to pay it forward, and I hope you guys do too. Another quick one. I think you guys are doing it. So Tinker Hatfield, designer of Nikes, right? Of Air Jordans and some stuff for Nike. Amazing creative person. But read something recently from him, and this really stuck out. Leverage and maximize your opportunities, and sometimes special things happen. So you're doing it. If you're taking a product school course, you're amplify up those opportunities and those interactions you're having with one another. You never know. Some company could come out of it, a startup. Take that coffee with that person, or that interview or something. You never know. You could be getting a great job somewhere, or be solving an amazing problem that's going to impact millions of people. So really leverage those opportunities that come your way, because there's some really cool things that could happen. Thank you so much. I think Dan, now it's question time, right?
Yes. Hello. Great presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So first question we like to ask all of our speakers is, do you have any advice for aspiring product managers? I know you just went over quite a few points, but.
Yeah, sure. You can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think, this is what that hopefully helps answer, is bring out the best in people, stay humble, and pay it forward, right? Those three things have really served me well so far in my product career. So yeah, I mean, just stay humble, be positive. That's a big thing. Wake up every day and walk in there with a big smile, big positivity, because it's contagious. And whether the person reports to you or not, going back to that direct report theme, they're going to feed off your energy. And if you're down and in the dumps, yeah, it's not all like roses and, candy canes and, Care Bears. But if you're positive and put on, a steady kind of aura about yourself, your team will pick that up and we'll go with it. If you're erratic and chaotic and down in the dumps, your team's going to, pick that up and manifest that. So really stay positive, and stay humble, and really amplify up the people that are around you, because again, those are probably the smartest people in the room, and they should be acknowledged as so, and also the team, because it takes a team. No one individual can do the things that we do alone, and if you know that and you stay humble about that, you'll do well.
Awesome. So let's go to one of our first community questions here. Jessica asked, what is your biggest piece of advice for teams that are newly forming to make sure you get all of them on the right path towards success, excuse me?
That's a great question, Jessica. One thing is, find some commonality. Find something that you guys, share together, and latch onto that. I think that's an important one. You've really got to start when a team is forming early. You've got to, again, find some things that you guys can kind of relate to as as not only working peers, but also potentially as friends. And that'll help kind of start those bonds between you all, because if you just kind of look at it as like, oh, 9 to 5, that's it, and then afterwards not, it might not go as well. Also, finding those kind of common bonds, and maybe that finding that passion for doing, oh, I like to do this work as opposed to this work. Finding out what people are passionate about too will also help that team. So again, to get kind of granular a little bit, we found out early on that we had some engineers that really loved video. So we let them explore and do video work. That was their passion, right? We empowered them to go and be those leaders of the team in all things video. Similarly with STAMP, or visual storytelling on AMP, another one of Google's things. We had an individual that they wanted to learn that product, and off they went. Same thing for AMP. Same thing for services. I don't have a real big interest in like the forward-facing kind of stuff they want to do. I want to be behind here building the systems, powering the experiences. Awesome. Great. Like get those learnings out of those people so you can kind of put those together and make those connection points. Because if you empower those people, things will start to kind of gel and start to move. No one wants to come in and do work that they don't want to do. Right. So if you find those little things that they're passionate about, let them take it and go with it. Again, if that's the strategy or the vision of the team, if it makes sense there. But try to find those. Those are really important. And then small wins. Taking kind of page out of a change management philosophy is that as a team is forming, if you can just the tiniest bit of success, again, what if it is like super tiny, acknowledge it, pat people on the back, raise it up to your leadership, celebrate it. After that, the next one happens, the next one happens, the next one happens. So really celebrating those small successes will add up to amazing large successes. So find something that can glue you together that when you're forming up, and amplify those small successes.
Awesome. So our next question from Ronaldo, he said, how do you scale your teams? Something related to McChrystal's team of teams concept?
McChrystal's, I'm not familiar with McChrystal's. It was Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good question, Ronaldo. Scaling teams. For us, it's really about the capacity of work. You don't want to get into a situation where you're kind of overstaffed or over-resourced, right? You've got to have, the way we look at it is, you've got to have a 6, 8, 9, week, or, in some cases 9 month, a year out kind of backlog of stuff to do. We really look to that to kind of, okay, well, what are the opportunities we're going after? Okay. What talent do we need to solve those problems? Okay. And we look at it that way, and how we kind of scale up our teams. We don't just kind of, going back to that, hire the person, not for the position. Sure. We have openings abound at CNN Digital. We're not, do we want to fill those seats immediately? Absolutely. Do we want to fill those seats with the right people? Of course. We won't just hire someone just to fill a seat, right? We want a person that's going to raise our bar of our team and our collective firm higher. And so we don't want to put people in those positions that won't do well, or that won't move the organization forward. So we look at, I guess, the kind of top line, that question is that we really look at, again, what the opportunities we are trying to solve, and the talents and the capabilities that we need to go after those problems. It's kind of how we scale up.
Cool. So our next question from James, James said, I know that diversity is important, but is there something that you particularly, I can't say that word. Is there something that you look for that is unique to you?
Great question. James, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you for it. I think we look for the, I personally look for the whole person. Sure, they need to be, if we're hiring a senior engineer, yes, do they need to know pretty complex systems and things and coding languages, of course. But we also look for the whole person, right? Just for talking sake here, do they like to fly fish? Do they like to paint? Like, what do they do on the weekends, right? Like, what do you do for fun? You probably just don't do just this for fun. So we look at things like that, I personally look at their soft skills. I can't be in every single meeting that, our team takes. Can those people, can we proxy one another? Can they articulate our North Star of our team, our vision? Do they have that kind of that mentality, or are they just kind of a person that wants to sit there and do their work and that's it, right? I would say most people on our team, actually I'd say all, especially on the Read Storytelling team here at CNN Digital. I personally think that that they all have that ability to go in and articulate what we're doing and doing it well. And they're amazing, engineers or project managers or artistic designers and amazing wordsmiths and journalists and crafters of storytelling experiences. At the end of the day, though, we've got amazing, passionate people on our team that they just don't do that, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. They've got families, they've got passions from kayaking to, raising kids or traveling or doing so forth. So really look for people that are the kind of whole-minded, the whole person. They've got some unique experiences directly related to the work they're going to be doing, and then also not directly related to the work that they're doing. That's kind of what we look for in diversity.
Awesome. And for our last question, Cliff said, do you have a story about redirecting a high-performing team when the business changes and the goals are now different?
Sorry, Dan, say the question one more time.
Sure. From Cliff, he said, do you have a story about redirecting a high-performing team when the business changes and the goals are now different?
I'm trying to think of a specific story. Let's see here. So in my experience, I've been a part of teams where, like in the startup kind of world, specifically when I was working for ShareCare, we were going after a lot of complex problems, and yeah, like we'd go after one, and we might not have found enough traction there, and so we would have to pivot and go after something else. So whether that was building this consumer-facing technology kind of thing, or building out a robust kind of data analytics kind of suite in the back end to help, some business function of the firm. I think what was helpful is that there was this overarching opportunity statement, or probably call it a vision, mission, kind of values, and always kind of fall back on that, stay true to that. That should not change, whether that is at the top of the organizational level, or in the culture or subculture of your specific team. You should have kind of a vision, mission, kind of value statement. You don't have to paste it on the wall, but if you want to, cool. That you can kind of fall back on, that'll help you kind of navigate those ebbs and flows of change. In digital, technology space, at that intersection of business and technology, I mean, our world changes so quickly, right? You've got to kind of have a zoom in kind of look for, 9 to 12 months, but then also have this zoom out kind of lens of, well, where do we think the industry or market's going to be in 10 to 20 years? And rely on that framework. And the reason why is that, again, things change, software, things we're trying to go after. We tested this, it didn't work out. We've got to now go to this thing over here. That 9 to 12 months is going to be pretty nimble and pretty flexible. But if you've got kind of that mission and vision, and you've got that, hey, this is where I think we're going to go, and the stuff we're doing over here in this 9 to 12 month thing is going to ladder, and this is how it ladders up to this 10 to 20 year market or industry outlook, you should be okay. I do think that you've always got to really, when you speak and articulate to your peers, to your executive leadership, is that, and they should know, is that things change, and things change pretty quickly. My personal perspective, these 3, 5, strategic planning kind of things. I personally have never been a part of one that has kind of manifested. So we're going to do this in the first year, we're going to do this in the second year, we're going to end this in the third year, and especially in our space. It's so fluid. It ebbs and flows with the news, with technology advances, with hardware advances, user preferences about how they do things change so much. So you've gotta be nimble. You gotta be adaptable. You've got to set some kind of themes or guardrails to say, these are the couple things we're going after. They're without a doubt, they're probably going to change, but we're going to go after them because we have the hypotheses and we have the data to back them up, and we're going after them. But ultimately, our goal is to get to here, and along the way, we're going to find our path. I hope that answers your question. If not, Dan, send me his information. I can follow up with him.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give you the link to the Facebook stream. If you want to go follow up, you can. But great. Thank you so much. That'll conclude today's webinar. Thank you for joining us, Alex.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Again, honored and humbled to be a part of it. And I hope you guys continue down the product path and find what you're looking for. And best of luck.
Well, thanks to everyone who joined us. Before we leave, real quick, I wanted to give you all some more info on our courses and upcoming events, so you have the resources to become a product manager. Product School offers part-time courses for anyone ready to take their career to the next level. Our product management, coding, data analytics, digital marketing, and blockchain courses are taught by industry experts working at companies like Google, Facebook, and CNN. In addition to that, we offer weekly online and on-site events at our 15 campuses across the US, UK, and Canada. And if you're located near a campus, make sure you stop by one of our weekly events every Wednesday and Thursday. And you can also find us on social media at Product School. So thank you all for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you next week. Have a good one, Alex.
Thanks. See you guys.